They looked at you and saw nothing. They dismissed you, ignored you, laughed when you spoke, talked over you in meetings, excluded you from opportunities, treated you like you were invisible, like you didn't matter. And they did it with a smile, because in their mind, you were beneath them, too small to be a threat, too weak to be respected, too insignificant to warrant their attention. But they made a mistake, a fatal one. They gave you something more valuable than respect. They gave you underestimation. And underestimation is the most dangerous gift you can receive, because while they looked away, you were watching. While they celebrated, you were planning. While they forgot about you, you were becoming something they'll never see coming. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote that the most dangerous enemy is not the one who attacks openly. It's the one who remains silent while building power in the shadows. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to destroy anyone who underestimated you, not with violence, not with confrontation, but with something far more devastating, strategic, calculated, irreversible domination. If you're ready to make them regret every dismissive glance they ever gave you, keep watching. If not, go back to seeking their approval. Let's begin. Here's what most people do when they're underestimated. They try to prove themselves immediately. They argue, they defend, they get loud, they demand respect, and they fail. Because the moment you react emotionally, you validate their assessment of you. You prove you're exactly what they thought. Small, insecure, desperate for validation. But you're not going to do that. You're going to do something far more terrifying. You're going to smile. You're going to agree. You're going to let them think they were right, while you quietly accumulate the power to erase them. This is Machiavellian revenge. Not hot, cold. Step 1. Embrace invisibility as your nuclear advantage. Right now, you think being underestimated is a weakness. It's not. It's camouflage. When people underestimate you, they stop watching you. They stop tracking your movements. They stop seeing you as competition. They give you the one thing you need most: freedom to operate without scrutiny. This is your weapon. While they're busy performing for each other, you're working in silence. While they're networking and politicking, you're building competence. While they're celebrating their status, you're creating leverage they don't even know exists. Here's how to use this strategically. Stop trying to be seen. Stop volunteering your ideas in meetings. Stop posting about your progress. Stop seeking recognition. Let them think you're exactly what they believe you are: harmless, average, forgettable. Because the lower their guard, the harder they'll fall. Research on competitive strategy shows that the most successful takeovers happen when the target never sees the threat coming. You are that threat, and they're not watching. Machiavelli wrote that appearing weak when you are strong is the highest form of strategy. You're about to become a master strategist. Step 2. Study them obsessively while they ignore you. They dismissed you, so they think you're not paying attention. But you are. You're watching everything: how they operate, what they value, where they're vulnerable, who they trust, what they fear. You're turning their dismissal into intelligence gathering. Here's what you're looking for: their dependencies. What do they rely on that could be removed? What relationships hold their power structure together? What would collapse if one piece disappeared? Their insecurities. What are they afraid of? What do they overcompensate for? What keeps them awake at night? Their patterns. What do they do repeatedly? Where are they predictable? Where do they cut corners? Their reputation. What do they claim to be? How does that compare to what they actually are? Where's the gap between image and reality? You're building a file, not literally, mentally. Every interaction with them is data collection. Every conversation they have near you is intelligence. Every decision they make reveals something about their thinking, and you're storing all of it, because knowledge is power. And they just gave you unlimited access to gather it. Psychologists call this strategic voyeurism. You're not participating, you're observing. And observation without participation gives you a tactical advantage they can't counter, because they don't know you're doing it. Machiavelli advised that a prince must know his enemies better than they know themselves. You're about to know them better than they know themselves, and that knowledge will be the knife. Step 3. Build undeniable competence in complete silence. Here's where most revenge fantasies fail. People get so focused on the revenge that they forget to build the weapon. They want to destroy their enemy, but they haven't built the power to do it. So their revenge is just noise. Just anger, just impotent rage. But you're not doing that. You're going to spend the next 6 to 12 months becoming so competent that your existence becomes undeniable, not good, undeniable, so skilled that even your enemies can't dismiss you anymore. Here's the process. Identify the one skill that matters most in your environment. If you're in business, it's revenue generation. If you're in corporate, it's making your boss look good. If you're in creative work, it's shipping finished products. Whatever it is, master it, not to impress them, to eclipse them. Work in obscurity. Don't announce what you're learning. Don't post about your progress. Don't seek feedback. Just grind. Early mornings, late nights, weekends. While they're comfortable, you're obsessed. While they're socializing, you're practicing. While they're resting, you're compounding. And here's the key. Don't let them see the work. Only let them see the results. Results they can't explain. Results that seem to appear out of nowhere. Results that make them question how you got so good so fast. This creates cognitive dissonance in their mind. Their assessment of you was that you're beneath them, but the evidence now contradicts that assessment. And that contradiction is painful. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them doubt themselves. And that doubt is the first crack in their confidence. Research on expertise shows that it takes approximately 10,000 hours to achieve mastery, but it only takes 1,000 hours to surpass someone who stopped learning. They stopped learning. They got comfortable. They assumed their position was secure. So you don't need 10,000 hours. You need 1,000 focused hours while they're coasting. And in 1,000 hours, you'll be better than them. Machiavelli wrote that the greatest revenge is not violence. It's excellence that renders your enemy obsolete. You're about to make them obsolete. Step 4. Position yourself as indispensable to someone more powerful than them. Here's the move most people miss. They try to beat their enemy directly, head-to-head competition. But that's inefficient and often impossible, because their enemy has position, resources, and allies. So direct confrontation fails. But you're not going direct, you're going around them. Here's how. Identify who your enemy reports to, or depends on, or needs approval from. That person is your real target, not your enemy. Because if you make yourself indispensable to that person, your enemy becomes irrelevant. So you study that person. What do they need? What problems keep them up at night? What would make their life significantly easier? And then you solve those problems quietly, efficiently, without asking for permission. You deliver value so high that they can't ignore you anymore. And when they start relying on you, something shifts. Your enemy is no longer the gatekeeper. You've gone around the gate. Now you have direct access to power, and your enemy has to watch as you rise past them without ever engaging them directly. This is positional warfare. You don't fight them. You make their position worthless by occupying higher ground. And there's nothing they can do about it, because you didn't break any rules. You didn't attack anyone. You just became too valuable to ignore. Machiavelli understood that power flows to those who are useful, to those in power. You're about to become extremely useful, and your enemy is about to become extremely irrelevant. Step 5. Let them discover your success from someone else. This is psychological warfare. When you finally win, when you finally succeed, don't tell them. Don't gloat. Don't announce it. Let them hear about it from someone else. Let them overhear a conversation. Let them see the promotion they weren't aware of. Let them stumble onto the project you're now leading. Let them realize in a moment of casual discovery that you've surpassed them and that they missed it. This is devastating because they can't prepare for it. They can't rationalize it in real time. They can't save face. It just hits them all at once. The person they dismissed is now above them, and they didn't see it coming. Research on social comparison shows that upward comparison, when unexpected, triggers the deepest psychological distress. It's not just that you won. It's that they lost without realizing the game was happening. And that realization is the knife twisting. Machiavelli wrote that the cruelest victories are those where the enemy realizes their defeat too late to prevent it. You're giving them that cruelty, not because you're evil, because they earned it. Step 6. Never explain how you did it. They're going to ask. They're going to want to know how you went from insignificant to essential. They're going to try to reverse engineer your rise, and you're going to give them nothing. When they ask, smile. When they press, deflect. When they demand answers, stay vague. Because the moment you explain yourself, you give them the blueprint to copy you, or worse, to sabotage the next person. But if you stay silent, they're left in the dark, and the dark is terrifying. They can't learn from what they can't see. They can't counter what they can't understand. They can only watch as you continue to rise while they stay stuck, trying to figure out what happened. This compounds their frustration. They thought you were simple, easy to understand, easy to dismiss. But now you're complex, mysterious, unreachable, and that shift from dismissal to fascination is the ultimate reversal. Machiavelli advised that the wise prince never reveals his methods because methods can be stolen, but results without methods create awe, and awe creates fear, and fear creates respect. You're about to be feared. Step 7. Outlast them through strategic patience. Here's the trap most people fall into. They want revenge now. They want the satisfaction immediately, so they rush. They expose their hand too early. They tip off their enemy before they have the power to finish them, and they fail. But you're not doing that. You're playing the long game. You're willing to wait months, even years, for the perfect moment. Because real revenge isn't about speed. It's about inevitability. You're not trying to win a battle. You're trying to win the war. And wars are won through attrition and positioning, not emotion. So here's the mindset. Every day they underestimate you is another day you accumulate advantage. Every month you stay silent is another month they let their guard down. Every year you build in obscurity is another year they age into complacency. Time is your ally because you're growing, and they're not. You're compounding skills, relationships, leverage, and they're coasting on past achievements. Eventually, the gap becomes so wide that no amount of effort on their part can close it. And that's when you make your move, not when you're angry, when you're ready. Research on strategic patience shows that delayed gratification correlates directly with long-term dominance. Those who wait strike harder. Those who rush strike weakly. You're going to wait, and your strike is going to be absolute. Machiavelli wrote that the patient prince defeats the impulsive prince every time. You are the patient prince, and they are already losing. Step 8. When you finally win, show them mercy they don't deserve. This is the final move, the one no one expects. When you've won, when you've surpassed them, when you have the power to destroy them completely, don't show them mercy. Not because you're weak, because it's the ultimate power move. Here's why this works. Destroying them validates their importance. It says they mattered enough for you to expend energy on revenge. But mercy says something different. It says they never mattered at all. It says you won so decisively that crushing them would be redundant. It says you've moved beyond them entirely. And that dismissal, that final underestimation from you back to them, is more devastating than any punishment. When someone who was beneath you rises so far above you that they no longer see you as worth destroying, that's the deepest cut, because it proves they were right to underestimate you, just not in the way they thought. You weren't beneath them because you were weak. You were beneath their notice because you were busy becoming something they could never reach. And now that you're untouchable, their original dismissal has been turned into a mirror. You're dismissing them with mercy, with indifference, with the quiet confidence of someone who has already won. Machiavelli wrote that true power is demonstrated not in destruction, but in the choice to withhold it. You're about to demonstrate true power. Now, let's be very clear about something. This process is not fast. It will take months, maybe years, and during that time, you'll be tempted to give up. You'll want to confront them, you'll want to argue, you'll want to prove yourself before you're ready, but you can't. Because the moment you break silence, you lose the advantage. So you have to be patient. You have to endure the disrespect quietly. You have to smile while they dismiss you. And you have to keep building even when no one sees it. That's the price of Machiavellian revenge. Silence, patience, discipline, and absolute belief that your time is coming, because it is. So here's your action plan. 1. Stop reacting to disrespect. Let them think they're right. 2. Start watching them obsessively. Learn their patterns, weaknesses, dependencies. 3. Build elite-level competence in silence. 6 months minimum. 4. Position yourself above them by becoming indispensable to their superior. 5. Let them discover your rise secondhand. No announcements. 6. Never explain your success. Stay mysterious. 7. Wait for the perfect moment. Don't rush. 8. When you win, show them mercy, because you don't need revenge anymore. You've already won. This is the blueprint. It's not emotional. It's strategic. It's not loud. It's silent. It's not fast. It's inevitable. And if you execute it correctly, they'll spend the rest of their life wondering how the person they dismissed became untouchable. If this speaks to you, understand something. There's a deeper level to this. Psychological manipulation tactics I can't share publicly. Power consolidation strategies that would get this video flagged. Revenge frameworks used by those who operate in the shadows. That content exists, but it's not on YouTube. It's behind the join button. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to start. But click join if you want the uncensored blueprint for total domination. Most people won't. They'll stay angry and powerless. But you're not most people. Now go. Smile at those who underestimate you. Build in silence, and let time reveal who was right all along. Spoiler, it was you.